Hi, it's Elena of Financialdemics, where we talk about all things personal finance. So, I got a little money rant for you all today, but it's not a rant in a way to put anybody down. It's more so just really talking about the information that we see in a lot of these videos out here. So I was watching either TikTok or a reel or some form of short form content, but the person who was actually talking, they basically were talking about like why you shouldn't invest in 401ks. Of course, that person was trying to sell the product that they sell. I thought it was crazy because personally, all the clients I used to work with, they would have, especially the ones with a lot of money that had like millions of dollars invested, they had different sources of money across the board. There wasn't a one or the other. I was looking at the comments because when I see things where somebody is saying something, especially if it's wrong, I was like, let me, check these comments and see if people are believing this or people realizing certain stuff is incorrect. And unfortunately, most of the people believed it. Most of the people felt like that they could invest in his product, which his product that he was selling, like I said, not to knock it, is not a bad product. It just requires a hefty amount of money monthly to do what he was speaking that it does. And so, I saw there was a lot of people who was like, oh, I'm interested. And then I saw the people who really, understands 401k saying like that's incorrect or this is not this, and you're not giving the right information. So that inspired this video. So let's talk a little bit about 401k. One thing I want you to understand is that like when it comes to 401ks, or any type of retirement plan that's provided by your employer, my whole goal is to benefit you. I just want you to understand what is out there that you can use to benefit you. I really don't care about why 401ks was started. I'll talk about it for a second. I really don't care like who else it benefits. I want you to understand how it benefits you and to use it to your advantage, because it's not always smart not to use some of the tools that are made because, oh, it wasn't started for a good reason. And that's a whole nother thing, because I couldn't even prove what that person was saying. I was looking it up and I didn't see anything about that. But that's not to say he was not telling the truth. So let's get into the history of 401ks real quick. 401ks came about during the Revenue Act of 1978. They brought up 401ks as a way for employers to defer compensation for basically a tax break. And this revenue plan had all kinds of stuff in it, and it's not the first revenue plan. So if you look it up, you can look it up yourself and see what other things were offered with it. But that's when the first 401ks came into play. Before that, pension was a huge thing. And as we know, pensions are no longer the biggest thing out there, mostly because of expenses, but it would be great if pensions were still available. I don't disagree with that. And the main reason why they implemented the 401ks is they were trying to limit executive compensation. So that's what I'm seeing. I went to congress.gov on it, okay? I will drop a link because I just want y'all to know, like, I'm not making this up. This is what I saw. Now, whether or not they're lying or not, I can't tell you because I wasn't even alive, but this is what they said. So initially, a lot of companies would not even use it because they weren't sure if they were going to get a tax break or not. But in 1981, they finally jumped on it and started using it because the IRS basically confirmed through tax code that they were going to be able to get this tax break. So a lot of larger companies started offering 401ks to employees. So how does it benefit you? That's really what I want you to understand. With 401ks, right? The reality is nobody wants to work forever. And I keep talking about this because I know a lot of people don't want to think far past, like, oh, I'm going to retire in this many years, but you're not going to want to work forever. I want you to think about that. You're not going to want to work forever. And right now, I think the retirement age for Social Security is like 67 for full Social Security. I think it's like 62 and a half for partial or half or whatever, but it's definitely 67 for full Social Security. And so if you don't want to work that long, first of all, you don't know if Social Security is going to be around. They've been saying that my whole entire adult life. So who knows if it really will be around by time you actually retire. But you also want to put yourself in a position where you already have money saved. So you're not depending on the government to pay you to live. Okay? Because Social Security is not a lot. I don't know if you looked at your statement. I mean, well, it depends on how much you've worked, but it's not a lot. And for my people out there who say they're going to work forever, you still need to be able to prepare, because you don't know if your body one day is just going to slow you down as far as like injuries or how you're feeling and things like that. If you haven't picked up on it already, I need you to save for retirement. Another thing about the 401k where it benefits you is that it actually reduces your taxable income. So every single paycheck you make, your 401k contributions, and truthfully, this does include like all of this. I'm saying 401k, but it includes 403bs, 457s. If you work for the government, those thrift savings plans, all of them, they come out of your check pre-tax. So because it comes out pre-tax, it reduces the amount of money that you're actually taxed on your paycheck. So I know a big dispute about 401k contributions or retirement contributions are, oh, there'll be extra money coming out of my check. Well, it's coming out anyway. It's going to come out in the form of taxes that go to someone else. At least defer and divert some of that money so that it's going to benefit you in the future instead of benefiting the government. Not only does it reduce the amount of money that you are taxed on your paycheck, at the end of the year, when you file your taxes, it actually reduces your taxable income dollar for dollar. I really want you to think about this. I said this already, but just really think it through. You're going to take some of your income, put it in this retirement plan, and you are going to be taxed less because you took some of your income and put it in this retirement plan. If you decide not to take this income and leave it so that it can be taxed, that money goes to the IRS. And maybe you'll get it back at the end of the year. Maybe you will not. But you definitely, even if you get it back, it won't be with interest. So why not benefit yourself and put some of this money away so that you will have it later for your own personal benefit instead of giving so much money to the government for taxes. And since you have put this money aside, this money is in an investment account. Now, I've also heard the complaints because as we speak at this moment, investment accounts are not doing well. The stock market is not like on the up and up. It fluctuates a lot. Some people have lost money, but the reality is you have not lost money until you have pulled that money out. That money is still participating in the market. And the stock market has a historical return of 10%. So at the very least, if you hold that money for the long term, you should have some growth. I'm not guaranteeing growth, but you should have growth, and it's not the same amount of money you contributed today when you actually retire. So I'd rather take the risk on investing my money for retirement than giving it to somebody else, i.e. the government, to use however they choose. And overall, that savings, when you really think about it, the money that you'll save because you get that tax break, even though you may not feel like it's huge, but I think it's good enough dollar for dollar. That's money that you can use because now you're in a lower tax bracket to help you put money towards the next goal you have. Another little thing you should think about as I tell you about the benefits of 401ks is with the Tax Cut and Jobs Act that was implemented in 2018, there are less write-offs available to the middle class taxpayer. So the standard deduction is higher, so you don't have as many write-offs that are available to you, which means a lot of people, and don't think about these last 2 years, right? Don't think about 2020 or 2021 tax years. Think about 2019 tax year. Your tax status is now different, and you're not going to have like those little extras that were available before. You have to be able to itemize to take on some of the additional deductions that are available. So if you are a middle class American who is paying taxes and you have a retirement plan available to you through your job, then this is one of the ways to at least benefit yourself when it comes to taxes, but also benefit yourself when it comes to how you want your life to look when you retire. And just to be clear, I'm not really telling you to just invest in the retirement plan at your job. I don't think that's the only way that you can invest. There are so many other ways you can invest, which is why I did this video, because that reel or TikTok or whatever I saw was basically just saying like, this is the only way. And it's not the only way. A lot of the people who I've worked with over the years when I was in the investment space, they had so many different forms of investment accounts. But just know that this is just a piece of that puzzle to help you get to where you want to go. Because I'm definitely for the Roth IRA. I'm definitely for other investment savings. All of those different ways to invest can help get you in a good place, get you to where exactly you want to be get you to exactly where you want to be financially, so that you do have that option to be able to retire early if you want to, and not wait until you're 65. Or I know some people's stuff says that they have to be 70. Not trying to sell anything to you. I'm not trying to make you think that 401ks are like perfect. That is not the case. So I want to tell you some other things about 401k, so you know yourself when you are looking at these investment options at your job. So I've already mentioned that 401ks, those contributions go into your retirement account pre-tax. So since they are not taxed, when you withdraw from your retirement account, they will be taxed. I want to let you know that it will be taxed. There was always this thought process that possibly you could be in a lower tax bracket when you withdraw the funds and blah, 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 blah. But simply, I would just tell you, and I do not know the percentages on this, but that is not always the case. So just keep that in mind. And that's why you should have a mix of different types of ways that you invest, but you still should take advantage of this opportunity that is available to you. Also, depending on where you work, they do offer a match, right? Some employers offer a match, so that's free money. And to be able to keep that match, you have to work for that employer for a certain period of time before you leave that job. But that's money that you don't even have to contribute. That's money that is free to you, because you are an employee of that company. And I don't care if it's a write-off for your employer. You're a write-off for your employer. Like, that's not important. What's important is whether or not you're getting this free money or not. Okay? So I want you to keep that in mind. You have that also available to you. So I would tell you from my own personal experience that my employer's contributions helped me to get to a certain level with my retirement savings. So we're not going to be complaining about, oh, when your employer contributes, they get a write-off. So what? Get this free money. Stop playing. Don't be listening to these people talking crazy. Get the free money. If you're working for an employer who offers the match, contribute so that you can get this match. I also hear a lot about like 401k plans not having good investment options. So here's the thing. It depends on who is your employer. Your employer picks the 401k plan and the different investments that are within the plan. And that's because, let's say, whoever you're with, which is so many different investment companies, they may have certain plans available, and then your employer is going to pick the one that works for them. And there's so many different things that are involved in picking a plan. So it's not as easy as like, oh, I just don't want my employees to have all these fun options. That's really not the case. It costs money for them to administer that plan also. So just know that some 401k plans may not have like a whole lot of options. Some companies have amazing options. It just depends. Regardless of the fact, whatever options that your employer has available to you, then take advantage of them. Whatever plan you have with that company, you can contact that company directly and speak with a licensed professional who can help you pick the best investment options for you that's available in that plan. Now, once you leave that employer, you can, well, depending on your plan, because all plans are different, you may be able to roll that money over into an IRA. When you do, that'll open you up to more investment options, okay? So it's not like you may be stuck forever. Every employer's plan is different, so you'll have to check your employer's plan. But if you're able to roll it over, you can get more options. Some of your plans might have some great options right now. I know my old employer, one of them had great investment options. I was not held back. Some other employers, not so much. So, just depending on who, just know that your investment options are based on what your employer chooses. So the whole point of this video, and basically rant over, look, if your employer has an option available to you, use it. It will benefit you. It kills me sometimes when I see people who bring me their taxes and they have a retirement plan available to them and they're paying so much in taxes because they're not contributing to their 401k. And I will say this video is mostly for people who are middle-class Americans who do not have a business, okay? But if you are a business owner, I will say there are options available for you. There are solo 401ks. There are retirement plans that are available to small business owners, especially if you have employees. There are SEP IRAs. There are options that are available for you to plan for your retirement too, because you may not want to work in your older age either, and at least you will have some type of option available to you so that you are able to retire when you are ready or sell off when you are ready. You always want to just make sure that you keep the options available so that you are able to do what you want to do when the time comes. So I hope you enjoyed my little rant. I didn't really go hard, but I definitely wanted to talk about it. Look, you don't have to follow my advice, right? With anybody on the internet, please fact check them. Fact check me. Please fact check them. Don't just believe anything you hear, because sometimes people are telling you the wrong information. They don't really understand it themselves. They're only just trying to sell their particular product, and you really don't have to put down someone else or another product to sell your product if it's that good. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Send it to your friend. Fact check me. Make sure what I told you is correct. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments below. And I will see you next time with an all new video. And check out this rant right here.